I've done the Toonami panel at a bunch of cons, and basically my Toonami panel is basically kind of a retrospective, kind of a look towards the future, stupid fun clips, because if Toonami's anything, it's clips.
Yes.
But, you know, just perk up if you want to comment on something, if you want to possibly see something I haven't mentioned I might have, I might not have. If you want to talk about something, it's fun. It's Saturday morning. I'm not expecting too much, and you guys should not expect too much of me. Trust me, I will disappoint you.
Only if you insist.
So, who here has seen Toonami since the beginning?
Well, kind of, sort of.
Okay, who can tell me what day it began?
God.
It's an easy to remember date. It's a holiday.
It was sometime in March.
Yeah. What big holidays in March?
St. Patrick's Day?
My uncle's
Yeah.
birthday.
What year?
97.
Yep, 97.
Yeah.
So it began, Toonami began March 17th, 1997 with this.
Jason, the monthly one.
Is that volume good in the back?
Yeah, I like controllers.
Just a little. That's good. Thanks, man. So obviously, wow, that's the old Cartoon Network logo too, from the old cartoons.
Yeah.
So in 1997, Cartoon Network had a few action blocks in the afternoon. The Super Power Hour, I think it was called. Action Hour was one of them. And none of them really hooked on until these two guys, Sean Akins and Jason DeMarco. Jason DeMarco, if you're on Twitter, at ClarkNova1. They got tasked with creating a new action block. Thing was, they wanted a block, Cartoon Network wanted a block for people coming out of school, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Don't spend a lot of money because we have all these shows you can throw on there. Because Cartoon Network was still getting its ground, but they had the full Hanna-Barbera library. They had the Cartoon Network library. They had bought a bunch of shows, and they never did anything with them. So they premiered the block with Moltar, a character they had from Space Ghost. And this was back when Space Ghost Coast to Coast was just every few Sundays you would happen to get a new episode. It wasn't on any regular schedule. Adult Swim wasn't even considered at that point. It was just a fan project they had. So Moltar was just this character they could use, and they used the same voice actor. In that intro, you see Clyde 47, I think, was his number at that point. It's Clyde 4749, the satellite creature that was relaxing on a recliner. He was named that because it premiered on TBS 40, or their satellite, I think it was TBS 47 or something like that. They were broadcasting from. You start to see the little beginnings of a continuity for Toonami with that. It shoots Clyde shot out of the William Street Ghost Planet Industries building. You always saw it in the old, before it was William Street. If you saw any of their old shows, they were from Ghost Planet Industries. So they started off with some basic shows. They had, let's see if I got it on here. Well, this was their big first show because it was an 80s show that everyone loved. Hasn't been on the air for probably a decade at that point. And they figured, we fully own this, so let's throw this on here all the time. So do you want to actually watch Thundercats before Toonami? You're showing your age, but that's good. So that was one of the early things Toonami did was they brought shows that they liked as kids or teenagers. They brought it back for a new generation. I'm 27. I didn't see Thundercats till it premiered on Toonami. Or at least I don't remember seeing it as a kid. This was a quick and easy way because they fully owned Thundercats. They didn't have to buy it from the rights from anybody. They didn't have to negotiate anything. It was just sitting in their catalog. Another show, to go on He-Man a little bit, He-Man, Thundercats. Sorry, I'm getting my 80s muscle characters mixed up. Thundercats went on from, after it aired on Toonami, they actually did a few comic books that were pretty cool conceptually. One was The Return, where it was actually set after the series, and Wile E. Kid and Wile E. Cat grew up, and it's kind of weird but cool. Has anyone here seen the Thundercats cartoon from the past year? Is it not amazing?
Yeah, rest in peace.
I've only seen like 5 minutes of it.
It's great.
The concept of the new Thundercats show, basically, let's completely reboot the original, throw out everything you know about it. Thundera is not it's a city, it's not the whole planet. There's one episode, if you have to just give one episode a shot, the Song of the Peddlers,
Yes.
the flower people. You should not be near tears because of a Thundercats episode.
Yeah.
But that is sad as hell. So Thundercats was one of their first big shows. They put it on there for years. They would always bring it back when they had a slot to fill. They basically loved that show. And then they had another show on the block, which to compare it best, it's Bleach of their generation. It was popular, but it was kind of forced upon their Toonami. Bleach on Toonami nowadays, they know it gets ratings, and that's the only reason it's on there. Started at midnight, get enough ratings. They're not going to put any effort in promotion or intros or anything. Just it's there. The other show, back the original Bleach, basically, they were forced to by Turner because Turner really loved this show. They put a lot of money on this. It was on multiple channels, and basically they hated the show. So when they could finally get rid of it, they figured they'd give it a special send-off.
We need to talk. Hey, Johnny, the tank is as dry as a bone. I don't know how to tell you this, but we've been together for a few years now, I know, and lately, things haven't been the same. I think it's time to split up. What do you mean? Just for a while. Let's see how it goes, okay? I just want what's best for both of us. You understand? Let's just make sure we stay friends. Take care, baby. What's going on?
Yeah, they never made up. They never saw Johnny Quest again. Yeah, sad. And then Johnny, according to what Venture Brothers continuity, became a drug addict. Maybe that's what drove him to it.
I can't couch anymore. My wife will kill me.
So they were having their fun with classic American shows or modern American shows that they had produced. But then they had a big hit that basically would shape the face of Toonami for the rest of its run, its original run.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be the fight of the century. We could conquer this beauty planet in our sleep. We'll see.
On this planet, we have something that we call the DragonCon.
Now prepare to die.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, who here had seen Dragon Ball Z before Toonami? Okay, 7 people. Who here had seen it on Toonami? For, 8 years it was on the block? 9 years, something like that? That basically, to show Dragon Ball Z had such an impact on... Okay, it was on syndication. It didn't do great there. Cartoon Network picked it up, put it on Toonami. It got Burger King promotions. It got toys in Walmart. It got a theatrical movie. It became one of the best-selling mangas in America. The DVD sales, even though there were 3 episodes of DVD, were in 2000, that was a great deal. 3 episodes for $30. Yeah.
Now we talking.
You wonder why people were driven to piracy?
Now we talking DVDs or we talking videotapes? Because we got the videotapes.
It was the first. Well, they did the whole series on VHS.
Yeah,
Yes, they did.
God, I'd hate to see that wall.
Actually,
Seriously,
it's a box.
3 episodes per VHS tape, 270 episodes in the series.
Actually, it's like a
271.
box. It's like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's that wall.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z was their first huge hit. And it was basically a show they salvaged, threw it on there. They threw the first 52 episodes that Saban had dubbed. Had to wait forever because they only had those 52 episodes. And then, we want to dub more. So Funimation got involved. They started dubbing it. They continued to air the remaining 200-something-ish episodes after edits. They aired Dragon Ball GT. They aired Dragon Ball. They've aired a bunch of the movies. Over there or something. What is that, Mario Kart?
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to figure out what the beat was. Just random ringtone? Okay. Mine's the Power Ranger communicator, so everyone thinks it's Kim Possible. Yeah. So Dragon Ball Z, to show you that intro, Toonami was known for their intros. That was it was actually a space-saving measure because most anime had like a minute and a half intro. That's a minute and a half of commercials they can sell. So they would do these 30-second intros to shave a minute off the show and sell basically 2 or 3 ads in that time frame. But they were really cool concepts because they were basically mini music videos that introduced everything you need to know to the show. I remember back in the day, like, they've got a new schedule on, like all new shows. They probably have new intros and new graphics. That was, for me, honestly, that was part of why you'd watch Toonami was the promos, the intros, because it was the extra bit of care. I could go, in '99, I could probably download an episode of Dragon Ball Z a week, but, watching them on TV, they get that little bit of stuff that made you pay attention to the commercials. And that's the whole point of television, pay attention to the commercials. So Dragon Ball Z got their huge male influence. Teenage boys love Toonami because of that. But they're an equal opportunity employer. It's not that clip.
It's forced to, must fight.
Yep.
For what we believe in. Not even a sailor skills can stop.
So Jess mentioned one of the early promos was Moltar going, "This one goes out to all the ladies," and then commenting that he had a crush on Sailor Moon. We all did. I was more of a Jupiter or Mercury guy. I can never decide. Just on a side note, the first time I ever watched Toonami was the first appearance of Chad on Sailor Moon, so I figured that was a good sign. So Sailor Moon got the female influence, and they kept it on as long as they could. They got 4 of the series dubbed. The first 2 had been dubbed by then. Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon R, I believe.
Half of Sailor Moon R had been dubbed when Toonami aired. They actually dubbed the rest of it during the course of Toonami.
Okay, so Super S and Super S.
S and Super S came later.
Yeah.
It was actually a different company that worked on it.
Cloverway.
Yeah, the first 2 were done by Deke and
Deke.
the second 2 were done by
Cloverway.
no, but Genion released it.
Yeah, I think Cloverway was just the dubbing studio.
Yeah, no,
In Canada.
I think Genion released the second 2.
So Sailor Moon's an interesting thing because basically the creator does not like how it was handled in America, and
However, it was announced this year. There's
the new anime.
Yeah.
They're doing a new anime, so chances are the new manga releases in America, which if you haven't picked them up, they're actually really good translations and good deals.
The new manga in America are redone from a 2001 Japanese re-release of Sailor Moon.
So
It's really, really good.
So chances are, I wouldn't be surprised if the next 5 years we had like Funimation doing a new dub.
Well,
They want it.
the thing is,
Everyone wants it.
it was announced during the announcement of the new anime that they want to simulcast it worldwide if they can.
I can see that. So our long Sailor Moon drought is over for guys who like dudes or chicks in short skirts. But in the 2000s, as a side note, they did this in Japan that you could have tracked down. Be horrified or amazed. They're all 14. This isn't 90210 where it's 20 somethings playing 14-year-olds. Oh, and she dies of cancer. The character, not the actress.
Wow.
Sailor Venus drops dead in the middle of the series. Sailor Mercury turns evil. That's fun. And Luna's a puppet. And if you really want to be horrified, look on YouTube for the Saban Sailor Moon live action. They did a pilot in 92, 93, I guess it's 93.
Yeah, it was right after Carmen Sandiego, the cartoon was very popular.
Yeah, so they did a pilot for an American one where it was live action girls would go into a cartoon to fight evil. And it was early 90s equality, so one of the Sailor Scouts had a flying wheelchair. Yeah, it was the Burger King Kids Club with Sailor Scouts. Who remembers the Burger King Kids Club? Kid Vid, man. You had to love Kid Vid. So Toonami started getting their balance, what they would keep for the years. They had Dragon Ball Z as long as they could milk it, Sailor Moon as long as they could milk it, which they never got the final series because it involves men transforming into women. Yeah, how do we classify that on Sailor Moon? Because it's magic. Magical male to female.
Yeah, they were like a sports team or something that changed into girls.
They were a singing group. Yeah. So they started to get one other show that would basically set the stage. And to this day, this trailer they had for it is one of the best they've ever done.
In the distant future, mankind has reached the stars, but the galaxy is troubled. The Earthsphere Alliance rules the outlying colonies with an iron fist.
I'm sure God would understand the steps we're taking.
Isn't it about time you people realized the ones posing the most threat are none other than yourselves? We've had enough! Those who oppose them...
We won't be needing you any further.
What?
Die.
You gotta double tap. Knock them out of the thing and then shoot them.
Mobile suits, the key to military dominance. The only hope for the colonies. 5 elite soldiers and their legendary mobile suits called Gundams.
Will be a day when the Gundams will save us all.
What this is war.
All of you are very mistaken, and the Gundams will soon come to rectify your mistakes.
Silence!
Now, these pilots will shake the foundations of the Alliance and change the course of history.
You thought I was a kid and you underestimated.
You'd be fighting on!
If they can stay alive.
Those Gundam pilots are desperate. They'll battle even if it means forfeiting their lives. Mission accepted. I'll eliminate all obstacles.
Just who are you anyway?
Say goodbye.
Get all mobile suits ready for combat at once! Thank you!
Don't die on me!
From the Gundam universe, a new chapter in one of the greatest anime sagas of all time. Gundam Wing. Weekdays at 5:30. Suit up.
Those who lay eyes on a Gundam shall not live to tell about it.
Only Toonami.
Every time I show that clip, it gets applause. I'll take it. I had nothing to do with it, but I'll take it. So Gundam Wing was kind of one of those, actually it was really influential for a TV show in America at the time. Premiering, I think, 2000, 99, something like that. It was one of the few shows on children's television that had like political warfare, terrorism, ideology. It threw all these things at kids that they might not even understand. I know it probably flew over my head back then because they had giant robots. That's what everyone else was paying attention to. So Gundam Wing was a very lucrative deal for them. Bandai liked that trailer enough that that was the official trailer for the series on DVDs, which is weird because they always said only Toonami weekdays at 5:30. Buy our DVDs. It started giant robots, kind of restarted giant robots after a while in America because Transformers had been off the air for a few years at that point, outside of the monkey Transformers. So they basically hooked up with Bandai, and everything Gundam coming out they were trying to get, which means you got one of my favorite shows, and actually the series right before Wing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Toonami's given you some of the greatest cartoon shows ever made. Now we're proud to present our newest edition, a program about love, honor, sacrifice, revenge, and a whole lot of destruction. Let's get things started. Gundam Fight all set, ready, go!
I will get rid of them with my own hands.
Your crime shall not go unpunished.
Figure out my true identity. Let's do it.
Now fire! What's happening? Prove your worth to the Shaolin Temple. Take this, my love, my anger, and all of my sorrow. You intend to shoot your brother? Will never be forgiven. G-Gundam premiering next Monday at 5. Only Toonami.
Oh my god, yes.
Can't wait till Monday.
So who here has not seen G Gundam? Okay, so 4 people. Wow, I'm proud.
It's in the dealer's room. Yeah.
If it's in the dealer's room, grab them because Bandai's not making DVDs anymore, it seems. G Gundam basically, well, most of your people have seen it. It's basically Gundam Olympics with the racial stereotypes inherent of that. Cuba had the Scud Gundam. Mexico had the Tequila Gundam. America's Gundam was the Maxter, which had a surfboard shield, boxing gloves, a football helmet, 6 shooters, because this is what America is to Japan. Japan's naturally was the main character and the hero. France had a bayonet, not bayonet, fencing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Holland?
Holland was a windmill.
Holland had a windmill, and the only reason they got to the finals were they just stood in windmill mode for 9 months. Oh, the final tournament's here. We didn't have a fight at all. We're good.
Had a zebra shield and a spear.
Oh yeah. What was it? Neo Kenya, I thought. Something like that, because Africa's more than one. Neo Kenya was a zebra pelt and a shield and a spear.
I think India was the Cobra Gundam.
Yeah, India had a Cobra. Was it Sweden had Sailor Moon? The Nobel Gundam. Yeah, Russia had like a Cossack hat. And yeah, it's basically, it was in fun, but it's kind of like subtly racist. Spiegel. They had the Racer X of Gundams. Oh, is that my brother? I don't know. Have you seen this guy? There's a great cosplayer who always walks around as Domakashi with a picture of his brother. Have you seen this man? So a little, they kept up with Gundam, and they figured, we've aired enough of the current ones, including my favorite original series one, which is kind of Romeo and Juliet with giant robots.
We're moving out.
Yes, good one.
We're not through yet.
Ready to fight! Hit him with everything you got!
It's got a really great story. It's very guerrilla warfare. It's probably the most realistic of a Gundam series. It's set in the original war timeline, but it's about the grunts in the war. Like, one of their Gundams gets its head knocked off, so shit, we don't have an extra head. Take one from the Zaku. So they put on like the bad guy's head just to have sensors and stuff. So they're really going on with Gundam, They figured, let's go back to the beginning. In 1977, 79? 79, right after Star Wars got...
Now is the time for mankind to stand up for the future. Hey! Hail Sion! Hail Sion! Hail Sion! Hail Sion! Launch Gundam immediately.
The Federation has dispatched its entire mobile suit forces.
The enemy started evasive action. Emergency.
Get back in 3 seconds.
Incoming!
They're at 10 degrees to the right at 130.
Launch missiles!
Gundam! Rifles are useless against its electric range.
We're going to have to break through them!
They really wanted Mobile Suit Gundam to succeed. They put that extra effort in the intro. They listed the creators. They know it's a very dated show. It was 30 years old by the time, or 20 years old by the time it had aired. Yeah, ratings really didn't do well. They premiered in like July 2001, I think. Ratings didn't do that great, but they were going to keep it on, at least get one run of the show done if they could. And then 9/11 happened. Yeah. It was one of those, like, this is how, like, real world affects television. It aired September 10th, Monday, no problem, obviously. September 11th happened, and they're like, we can't really have a show about vaguely realistic warfare and terrorist actions on Toonami. Like, Dragon Ball Z, they're flying in space, shooting energy blasts and over balls. Gundam, they're having political discussions as, like, guys pulling a gun out on civilians or something. So they do what?
Hijacking a space colony and driving it into the Earth.
Yeah, it's a little more terroristic than, Reboot. So they pulled it on September 11th. September 12th they actually aired it, and then after that they're like, nah, we just double episodes of Dragon Ball at this point. We can't have this on here. So they took a different aspect from Gundam at that point because they're like, this climate, it's not really good to have terrorist-based shows. So they went a full 180 and co-produced this show. So that exists. And it's actually, it has its roots in some really cool SD Gundam. The show was called Superior Defender Gundam, but in Japan they had done Super Deformed Gundam. It was just little comedic sketches and shorts. In America, though, in 1993, something like that, before Gundam got big in America, you can track this down on YouTube, Doozy Bots. They had pitched this, they made this little like 5-minute short. It was using SD Gundam models, and it was going to be kids who sneak into this professor's lair and turn themselves into Doozy Bots, i.e. Gundams, and fight wacky hijinks of like the school bullying shit. Yeah. There's a reason that did not get picked up. Another thing, like Sailor Moon, it also had a Gundam in a wheelchair. He became Gun Tank. So even when we have this magical ability to turn you into a robot, you still have wheels. So Gundam was a real attempt at having more mature shows on the block, and they premiered this, which Funimation is re-releasing this fall.
250 parsecs to target point.
Now listen carefully for what I'm about to tell you.
This is it!
Now is your time to grasp the future. Waste your life.
All I want now is revenge! Leave Tenchi alone! Tenchi is mine! It must be trouble for the ladies.
I love Tenchi to this day.
Yes.
But that was one of those shows, like, they're kind of pushing the boundaries, which you can have at 6 o'clock on Cartoon Network.
They drew a lot of fake bikinis.
Yeah, they had to pioneer the digital bikini, which was basically, the series had a lot of episodes set in hot springs. So let's just pause. Okay, there's a bra. All right, next screen. So basically, they're all at a hot spring in their bikinis, not naked like you would be in a hot spring. Oh, and they also didn't drink sake; they drank tea. They were getting drunk off that tea because they didn't change like how they acted or anything. Just I love this tea. Hey, Tenchi. So Tenchi, it was Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi Universe, Tenchi in Tokyo. They never aired any of the movies or specials. When Toonami came back on April Fool's Day, they made a point to air the final episode of Tenchi, which had one of my favorite lines of the night. Tenchi's got 99 problems, and these bitches are most of them. Which was one of those moments you're like, wow, Tom just called them bitches. I guess we really are on Adult Swim now.
Yes.
So, yeah, it had some good swordplay, but the show, they were known for swordplay on the block.
Yes. Yes.
To protect the innocent and never kill again. But old memories seldom fade. And bad habits die hard. Premieres Monday, March 17th at 6:30.
On their birthday.
Yeah.
So, Kenshin, they aired 2/3 of the series. The final arc never got released because it was vaguely religious.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they would have aired if it got ratings, and they could. So Kenshin, just to catch you up on that, they've done a few specials since then. They have a in Japan right now, starring Kamen Rider Deno, if you're that kind of nerd, like me, that you need to come to my panel tonight at 7 in here about Power Rangers.
It's done pretty good.
Now, to compare it, they were also airing this at the same time, and there's a connection, I'll tell you. But this was also on the block.
Well, they are kind of cute.
That's a motto I take to heart. If I wasn't so excited, I'd be confused. So why do I show those clips back to back? After Hamtaro was forced on Toonami, one of those corporate edicts, put this show on your block. And they realized after a while, this just is not working on the block. So they moved it a half hour earlier to 3:30 for the general children's children's programming on Cartoon Network. When they air shows on TV, at least back then, they probably use discs now, but they would take out a tape, put in a tape, play the tape. That's how they would swap programmings and stuff. Someone screwed up during an episode of Hamtaro. Goes to commercial break, puts in the tape of commercials, pulls out that tape, puts in an episode of Kenshin. Kenshin's slaying people on a train. Best episode of Hamtaro ever. He's helping them find their friends and some sunflowers or some BS. Here's a Discovery Zone commercial, and then, oh my God, that guy's got a sword through his chest. What? So, let's see. I'm kind of just picking and choosing at this point. One of their more dramatic shows aired, and they brought this back during the Adult Swim run, and it got
The rage of an evil scientist has flooded the world.
What's death but for you? A utopia.
The battle has begun. Some rise to the challenge. Others sink into the tides of war. Big Life to the Death, Blue Submarine number 6. A 4-part miniseries continues. Episode 3, tonight at 6.
Yes, tonight at 6. Turn on Cartoon Network tonight at 6. I promise you that'll be on. So Blue Submarine was one of these, they did a little miniseries every Friday, and then they aired it as a movie. It was one of those, like, you know what, just try this. Bandai's got it. It's got some good action. It's got some good drama. It's got really good designs. And it also has something they really liked to do was computer graphics. And this was back when computer graphics in shows was kind of uncommon. Now you watch an episode of Futurama, every episode has a CG ship or bender or something just there. But a show that pioneered that basically was the first show to really give computer animation on television a shot.
Yeah.
I got that too. Yeah.
Now that's old school.
Complete series on DVD now. Buy it.
Yeah. Trying to make
Seriously, it's a great show, and that reboot's one of those Toonami success stories, because the first 2 seasons had premiered on ABC in America, and ABC was very odd with their broadcast standards and practices. Like, if you've seen the show, they have like air hockey almost in an episode where they're just flying around with hockey pucks or whatever. They could not call it hockey because one of the censorship guys goes, "You can't use the word hockey, that's sexual slang." Aren't you airing hockey after this? Look on Urban Dictionary. I'm just saying it's a mixture of things. They had really strict edicts. Like Dot, the main female for most of the show, could not have 2 boobs. She had 1. She had a mono boob. Because splitting it would make it too sexualized. You can show she's a woman, she just has 1. She couldn't sing a song to her brother because they thought, oh, that's incest. No, she's singing a song to her brother. It's his birthday. So basically, Mainframe was tired of ABC, and ABC probably wished for better ratings for the show. And it aired on YTV in Canada. It's a Canadian production. So season 3 comes along, and YTV's like, you know what? We don't have ABC, bugging us what we can and can't put in the show. Let's go all out. Season 3 got a lot darker. Well, seasons 1 and 2, you kind of have to see them to see why season 3 gets so dark. Like, the main child character gets his eye ripped out in the 4th episode. People die regularly. There's vicious fights. It was the dramatic part to contrast with the goofy fun of the first 2 seasons. So season 3 ended, and they were like, yeah, it's a good show. Cartoon Network picks it up, airs it on Toonami. Does great. They go, hey, do you guys want more episodes of this? So they go to Mainframe. Mainframe talks to Cartoon Network. They originally were scheduled to do a 13-episode 4th season, with a final 13th episode being a musical. They got it shortened down to 2 4-episode movies. So you can air it as 2 movies or air it as 8 episodes, however you want. Toonami aired it as 8 episodes. It left on a cliffhanger, which is depressing as that because the final voice actor in the series, the main bad guy, he has since passed away. So even if they ever pick up that in animation, they can't have that voice actor come back. They've done a teaser trailer for a movie, but nothing ever came out of that. They did a webcomic that kind of wrapped up the story as best as it could for like a 2-issue webcomic. So Reboot really did good, really one of those success stories for Toonami and Cartoon Network in general. Let's see. So in this era, they were also just kind of hitting some stuff. They're wearing this show, which did big on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, Lucky Squirrel Man.
Let's go!
As soon as you get back, you need to watch it. I think I might take these on the net. Sure, it's hard to find. I mean, where did you buy it from? Yeah.
They skipped 1 episode on Toonami.
And I don't know why.
It was a hot springs episode.
And
The whole episode, a character's trying to see the girls in the girls
Yeah.
naked. So, girls
It's
in the
pretty
naked,
brief,
yes.
too.
In the naked. So on when they aired it on April Fool's Day, they're like, yeah, go buy the DVDs. It's got all the nudity and blood we couldn't show you. Let's see. Let's make sure I'm getting it from this era. Oh, so we talked about Sailor Moon, what her husband produced, or wrote, created.
Hunter X.
This is one of the comic books.
Oh, yeah.
For a detective, you don't know much.
You have caused me pain. I do not like that.
That's it. In case you didn't know, I happen to be a spirit detective.
With Yu Yu Hakusho, that was one of the original Adult Swim action shows. Because when they started Adult Swim, they didn't have as many adult action shows, so they had this kind of like mid-ground where, yeah, it's a little violent, but it's in Shonen Jump. So after it aired a little bit on Adult Swim, they're like, yeah, just stick it on Toonami. It's right next to Dragon Ball Z. It makes sense. And that was the beginning of, well, Dragon Ball Z had started it, but they really started to become a Shonen Jump block at this point. With Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho, and then these two, which I hesitate to show because everyone knows them, everyone loves them or hates them, but they were important to the history of the block, if anything.
There's no way to be who I'm thinking of. They are way too
Ninjutsu, the art of stealth and perseverance. To follow this path, one must be strong in mind, body, and spirit. Ready. The way is treacherous. Some will succeed, some will fail. But only one will rule the school. Naruto, 1 hour premiere Saturday, September 10th at 9. No guts, no glory. Only Toonami.
They thought that was going to be the next Dragon Ball Z and put so much time and effort and scheduling behind it. And it did not happen.
Yeah.
So after Naruto premiered, they're like, oh, here's another show from Shonen Jump that didn't really do well on syndication, but we'll pick it up. People like it. We love it.
God, 4 kids.
Wants to become king of the pirates. The only problem, he can't swim. But he's gathered a crew. And together, they'll seek the legendary treasure of Gold Roger. Things are gonna get a little strange along the way. Is that rubber boy a one piece? Premiere Saturday, April 23rd from 10 to 11 p.m. Don't let this drag. Only Toonami.
The sad part is that most of the good stuff in that one aired after Toonami quit running it.
Yeah.
I never was a big fan of the show, but I know like Jason DeMarco loves that show, and if he could get it back on there, he would get it back on there in a second.
Poor kids didn't butcher it.
Yeah. So throughout all this, you know, Toonami was never just anime. They aired a lot of American shows too. They did really well with some American shows. The problem is, so many people got the mindset, oh, Toonami's just anime, because the name's Toonami, that's Japanese, and that's anime, it makes me nervous and that. And honestly, there is that whole field of anime elitism that a lot of people have. Oh, anime, it's better than American shows. It's just a different country it's coming from. It's good or bad on its own merits. So they aired a lot of American shows, and I'm trying to find one right now. Here was a classic they had on Midnight Run. I just love this intro.
Stay in your seat, buddy. Yo is the code name for America's very highly trained special mission force. Its purpose to defend human Americans to Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Hot metal snake face, G.I.
I want to be in that line of work where I can tell somebody eating a hot knuckle snake face.
Yes.
Pretty sure you can work street corners.
Eat hot knuckle snake face. Can I have $5? So that was one of their classic shows. We have the rights to. We'll just throw it on there. It's on midnight 12:30, midnight 30, noon o'clock. We'll throw it on there. And then they had people come to like, hey, we want to take an old show and revamp it. Can you do that can we do that on your blog? Sure.
I am Adam, Prince of Eternia, defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous.
Screw your fabulous secrets. Fix it back.
Push it back.
Fix it back. Sure, maybe. I don't know. That might be working. Let's see.
I am Adam, Prince of Eternia, defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous.
Yeah, I just want to hear about his fabulous secrets one more time. Maybe he'll tell me this time. If you haven't seen the 2000s He-Man, it's actually a really decent show. It was made to sell toys, and there's a lot of episodes that are like, oh, I can't fight this guy. Well, if I put on the snake battle armor in stores now, I can beat him. The whole series is available in like a 15-disc set for $10 online. It's by Mill Creek Entertainment. They crank out like all of Ultraman for $5. Seriously, they're great deals if you want to just like kill a weekend. He-Man, it was very self-referential about the past though. Like they knew everyone hated Orko, so they made Orko either an idiot or the most brilliant person in town by accident. In America, they didn't have to do the public service announcements that He-Man was known for, so they didn't do them. But in Canada, they actually did. So on the DVD, you can see all these like horribly goofy PSAs that they just took the script from the 80s. Orko, don't play in the dryer. Sonic says, if a man touches you. Really, Sonic? This is what you're telling? If you feel bad in a no-no spot?
Get out of it.
Yeah. Let's see. They premiered this, which was the end of an era.
The original Justice League has become a memory.
I am resigning from the Justice League.
What's going to happen to the League now?
We rebuild from the ashes of that great conflict. A new team has arisen. A much, much bigger team.
Each of you brings something different to the table.
Old friends, new heroes. And as usual, plenty of bad guys jumping up to get beat down.
Calm down, and I'll let you go.
How about you kiss my ass?
Watch out. There's nowhere to run. Because this year they're all around you. The League is unlimited. Toonami presents an all-new original series starring every superhero worth cheering for. And then some. Justice League Unlimited. Premiering July 31st at 8:30 p.m.
Where am I exactly?
Among friends.
There's strength in numbers. Only Toonami.
So, Justice League Unlimited was the end of the DC animated universe as it was. Toonami actually got to air the series finales of that. If you haven't seen Justice League Unlimited, it's a great episode by episode. You don't really have to see the whole arc, but there's a larger story if you do. The great story about that is the first season they thought was going to be the last. So they're like, let's have the final episode be a Batman Beyond episode that ties up all the loose ends from that and ends with a homage to the first episode of Batman, the animated series. Great. All right, that's the end of the series. We did good. Now we want 13 more episodes. You said we were canceled. Yeah, we did good enough. 13 more episodes. Well, what the hell do we do? They go, well, what's all the crap we wanted to do throughout the series? We're like, nah, that's too silly. We can't. All right, we'll have the Legion of Doom. Just Legion of Doom up in this. Solomon Grundy, Lex Luthor, all the stupid stuff, flying helmet fortress, whatever. Just throw that in there. We don't care. We don't have jobs after this anyway. So in that commercial, one of the Toonami thing, they brought back some of the sound bites you heard from Super Friends. Those iconic, like, vroom, whatever sound effects. The same people, you'd see this during Toonami a lot.
My ability to talk with fish is of no help, Wonder Woman.
Now, super fools. What? Girls.
Why do people always get that wrong? It's Powerpuff! No D!
How informative. Well, there is a D in destroy, as in destroy them. Destroy them!
Thanks, Powerpuff Girls.
No problem. We're big fans of old school.
You girls are developing into quite the superheroes.
Someday we'll be as developed as you!
Someday we'll be as developed as you are, Wonder Woman.
I actually remember when they ran that. I watched that.
They aired it a lot.
Yeah, that's yep, that aired.
That happened.
So speaking of cartoons that Toonami would pick up.
These people with such straight up skill. You will fall against the powers of Absolution. We have come to destroy you. Come and get me.
A few notes about that. That was actually the last show to air on Toonami before when it was canceled. It never really had an ending, and even if they came back to it at some point, the voice actor for Aku has passed away. Mako, right? Gendy Tartakovsky, the creator of that show, is now with Sony. So unless Sony buys the rights for Samurai Jack, you're not going to see an ending unless Cartoon Network hires him out somehow.
Aren't they making a movie though?
They were in
Sony.
talks of that for years, but now with Tartakovsky at Sony, unless Sony produces it, then that'd be
Yeah, I
great.
heard that it's in pre-production last time I heard.
It's one of those. It's out there. We'd love to see more of it. Samurai Jack was amazing.
There's been rumors of a movie for quite a while.
Yeah, it's one of those. Everyone wants to do it, but no one wants to put up the money for it. Let's see, just to throw this out here, this is one of the shows that Toonami picked up and did really well enough that it actually got a second season.
One part Batman. Yes. One part Bonin. One more giant city-smashing robot. Big O. Today at 5:30. Good guy. Black. Only money.
And that was a show. It did so well in Toonami. They're like, we're going to co-produce a second season. We're going to put it on Adult Swim because we don't want to edit it at all if we're co-producing it. And then it didn't do well on Adult Swim, so we never got season 3. So it ends with everyone being tomatoes or something.
Like
If you've ever seen Big O, you're like, yeah, we're all tomatoes. Is that what the moral of the story is? Whatever.
All a play.
From that era, also one of the favorite shows that's actually getting a new movie in Japan.
In an effort to dominate online warfare, the secret organization, Black Ghost, has transformed these 9 humans into cybernetic soldiers. The problem is, nobody asked them.
We were kidnapped on the street so you could remodel us. There's no surrender to your fate.
Cyborg 009, next on Monday, June 30th at 6.
How did I do all this?
Being affluent, you know that.
Cyborg 009, who here had seen that? It's actually a really good series. It's a remake of a classic 60s series, I believe, by Shotaro Ishinomori. Ishinomori was basically Japan's Stan Lee. He created so much stuff in Japan that's iconic in his style, and he just kept creating until he died. What else has he done? He's basically all his characters had a notable scarf. That was his kind of trait. It's like a cape, but it's more mobile and more dynamic. He did Kamen Rider. He did Super Sentai, which we get in America's Power Rangers. He Cyborg 009. Who here read Nintendo Power?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the Zelda comic they did in that?
Yeah.
He drew that.
Wait.
Basically, the man worked until he died, had a crazy afro for a Japanese guy. You can go to a building that has his hand sticking out of the wall if you want to shake his hand. Not his real hand, but like a statue of it. Not like a skeleton. He passed away like a decade and a half ago, something like that. Since we were talking about cartoons, and I don't want to miss this, Toonami started getting such a big notoriety on Cartoon Network that other bits of Cartoon Network, let's have fun with that. The style.
I already have a boyfriend.
No place to run.
No mercy.
So Cartoon Network started to see that the Toonami visual style was popular. Let's expand it to everything. That was a parody. They only aired that as a commercial, but they extended it to some of their corporate brothers in a horrible era of synergy.
Oh.
Starting Monday, July 30th, Toonami comes to Kids WB.
Yeah. It was like 2 months, and it actually, if you look at it, it had Dragon Ball Z. It actually aired Sailor Moon a little bit. Pokemon, that kind of works as a Toonami show, to be honest. Batman Beyond was on it. Batman Beyond was on Toonami proper. So it wasn't that bad. It's just, you took the name, you didn't have any of this heart and soul behind it, so you just cranked out a ship and said that's Toonami. So with all things, ratings dictate everything, and probably about 2005, they started going, Toonami's a little on the slow side, let's try a few other things. So they introduced this on Saturday nights. So, Saturday Video Entertainment System was basically like, let's do Toonami shows, but not the Toonami brand, just test that, see how that works. It was actually produced by the guys at William Street, so it's not like it was outsourced, but they're just basically, let's not stay away from Toonami. Let's see. Right before that era, they did air this. Actually, right after there, I'm sorry. And this became one of... This always gets the best reaction I've ever seen in a panel. 26 episode series about giant robots in New Jersey.
Hey. Go ahead, Coop.
Everyone sings along with this too.
First year,
Keep going.
giant robot car. You dig giant robots. I dig giant robots. We dig giant robots. Just dig giant robots.
Nice. George Christic is doing Motor City on Disney XD now. I don't know what Jody Schaefer went off to do, to be honest. Megas XLR, 26 episode series. They never released it on DVD. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's basically a giant robot show set in Jersey with all the stuff about that. Like, oh, we're not fighting a bad guy to fight a bad guy. He's in the way of my Slurpee machine. One of the most brilliant moments of that show is the whole episode is featuring the main character, Koo, trying to get a special Slurpee that has 3 different compartments.
Yes. Yes.
So the whole episode, he's fighting his way through the town because monsters just keep showing up. He gets to the place, takes the 3 compartment Slurpee, and fills them all with strawberry.
It's the best flavor.
One of the recurring gags in the series, every episode would feature the destruction of Pop TV.
Yeah.
Why they did that was the creators had a show on MTV years before called Downtown, which did 13 episodes, I think. MTV didn't pick it up. They really weren't happy with the way MTV handled the situation. You can buy that on DVD, not through MTV. If you go through the creator's website, you can purchase a $35 autograph, and he's got to sign on something, so he'll put it on these promotional DVDs. Because he cannot legally sell the series, but he can sell his autograph. I just happened to write it on a DVD box set of the series I made. It's the same thing in Japan. If you ever know Daikon 4, they couldn't sell the footage, but they could sell an art book that happened to have a promotional Laserdisc with it for $150. Does someone have a question?
I was going to say, they can't just do that with Megas?
They can. They just haven't gotten around to it, probably. Or that maybe they fear Cartoon Network's lawyers more than MTV's. Or they might realize it's 2012. If you want the series, there's the internet. Go there. Seriously, that's one of those shows, if they're not going to release it, just track it down. You'll have fun. They also did this when Cartoon Network was trying to find its identity.
Yes.
Nice ride. Thanks. What do you think of my van? I call it my mystery machine. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Customizer myself. Wall-to-wall shed, 4 speakers, the works. The works, huh? You're my kind of guy. Hey, what do you got there, V8? V8000. Ooh, V. It's kind of like a monster truck. Monster truck? You're ruining my street cred.
This is a world where Fred has street cred. Just saying.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Hey guys, groovy ride.
Want a lift? Hey! Okay, dude, let's see what that jalopy can do. What's a jalopy? First off the line.
Yeah, I'm sure they're feeling pretty silly right now.
I'm saying Fred has street cred. That's scary. So just looking at what I have available because I'm running down on them. Toonami was a lot about music. They used Joe Boyd Vigil for music for most of the years, and then DJ Clark Nova, also known as Jason DeMarco, he put his own music on there. You could buy 1 CD. It's actually going for like $80 new on Amazon. I got it for like $15 when it came out. They made the first CD was called Deep Space Base. The second one was Black Hole Megamix. They never physically released the second one because stuff fell through. But you can find it online, fully sponsored by. Okay, the artist is just go here and download it. We're never gonna release it. Toonami Arsenal. You can get all the clips there. You can also download the CD. One of the great tracks on it is it has nothing but bloopers over track. So Peter Cullen, who you might know as the voice of Optimus Prime, did most of the promotional work for the series. Steve Bloom and who was the original voice actor? I'm sure someone knows. No. Anyway, they were all these voice actors they used regularly. They would screw up in the booth. And there's this track where Peter Cullen's having trouble saying the Flash. Just 10 seconds, flash. Great beats, but they actually did a special 1-hour block of just music.
Been a long time since we brought the noise. Thought we'd drop some beats and some bang.
Hell yeah.
Finally, on Friday, August 31st at midnight, we're breaking off a full hour of animated music videos in a Midnight Run Special Edition. We got the first 3 Daft Punk videos and the world premiere of 4. Plus all 3 Gorillaz videos, including Plays, and Toonami videos you've never seen before. Ain't nothing changed.
So if you ever like their music, it's easy to find that stuff. But at the end of the day, they just wanted to show the best cartoons they could. And so they did, during very close to the end, they just treated us to a month of Miyazaki.
Yes.
Man against nature.
The insects must be stopped.
Spirits against humans.
You shouldn't be here. Get out of here. Go.
Man against man.
Hold it right there.
And the most fantastic visuals around.
Let's go!
Spirited Away.
I'm dreaming!
Princess Mononoke.
This is what Hector looks like.
Castle in the Sky.
That was exciting.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
You must not burn down the toxic jungle.
Then that's what you started doing.
Toonami is proud to present 4 of the greatest animated movies ever made.
This is unbelievable.
A month of Miyazaki, starting March 18th at 7:30. Don't sleep on it.
We're doing this for the good of the planet.
Only Toonami on Cartoon Network.
We all know Nazca's the best, right? No one can argue that.
Porco Rosso.
Porco Rosso wasn't in there.
You said the best. And now they've been canceled.
That's what they aired. That was a question back then. So, after all that was said and done, they're like, you know, we're going to give Toonami a break. And they were giving it a break. They were just outright canceling the block. So, they figured out, they announced it on Anime Week in Atlanta 4 years ago. I hate to say I was the guy on the panel who like, oh crap, they're write it down online, and everyone sourced me, and I felt bad for announcing the death of my friend Toonami, basically. They're like, yeah, later this night, just watch the final Toonami, and then they aired this.
Well, this is the end, beautiful friends. After more than 11 years, this is Toonami's final broadcast. It's been a lot of fun, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you who've made this journey with us. Toonami wouldn't have been anything without you. Hopefully, we've left you with some good memories. So, until we meet again, stay gold.
And he kills himself. So who can tell me why he says bang?
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop, same voice actor, same final line of the series. Which is funny, because as soon as April Fool's Day rolled around, this happened.
Oh.
Great movie, by the way. I own it on DVD, I'm not even gonna lie.
It's so bad it's good.
They waited just right amount of time.
Oh, hi, Adult Swim. Got the results of the test back. Definitely have April Fools.
Transmission. Uploading videos of broadcast. All right, Tom, we're ready.
I love this job.
So April Fool's Day this year, they aired a new, I think it was 7 hours of Toonami.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was old shows they had, like just Gigantor and Gundam Wing and Dragon Ball Z. They actually aired the final episode of Tenchi Muyo, which wasn't even produced when Toonami was airing Tenchi. They aired some stuff that was never on Toonami but made sense, like Trigun. They aired Blue Submarine No. 6, Gigantor, Astro Boy, and Twitter blew up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Outlaw Star is a trending topic on Twitter. That would never happen.
They did it again the other week.
Their budget for this was shoestring. all the footage was old clips. They just added new dialogue. Steve Bloom, the voice actor, probably just came in there for free because he's admitted like Tom is one of my favorite characters.
He's still doing it for free.
Do what?
He's still doing it for free.
Oh, basically.
Yeah.
We assume he hasn't said because I think
I don't think he can legally do it.
I don't.
for
Yeah,
free,
because of unions, I don't think he can legally work for free. But
$1.
so Twitter blew up and they started the hashtag Bring Toonami Back, and then a few months later the hashtag Toonami's Back, bitches, which led to this.
Couldn't trend.
What's up, Toonami faithful? Time for another night. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you've been down from the beginning, all I can say is thanks. Time to push the button.
So they bring back Toonami on Adult Swim Saturday nights. Basically, Adult Swim had gotten tired of airing anime on their own. It's just there. They're like, yeah, we'll deck it out, put Toonami on it because people want that back. See if that'll help ratings. Toonami's ratings have been a little bit above of what Adult Swim was just airing at that point, so it shows people do want to watch Toonami and not just the shows. But they've also added, so the schedule was Dead Man Wonderland, Concerned Sins, Ghost in the Shell, Cowboy Bebop,
Bleach.
Full Metal Alchemist, and Bleach. Some of these shows they were just already airing. Cowboy Bebop and Ghost in the Shell, they said outright, we just have the TV rights for these for a long time. So they're great shows, we're just going to put them on there. Dead Man Wonderland and Concerned Sins, they just got from Funimation, which if you went to anyone go to the Funimation panel yesterday? Yeah. Okay. Basically, Lance, the director of corporate strategy at Funimation, they had a list of stuff they took to adults. I'm like, what do you want? Really? You want Concerned Sins? Okay, take it. It's a very much, if you want Toonami to succeed, you need to watch it because it's purely ratings at this point, purely discussion on Twitter and stuff. You have to be active with Toonami for it to keep around. They haven't outright said it, but they probably honestly just borrowed some shows from Funimation to like, hey, we need something. You guys want DVD sales? Let's work some together. They've made maybe about 2 minutes of new footage of Tom in the Absolution total because they keep reusing it because they don't have that much time and money to make new CG. They've been doing a thing where they try to get a new video clip each week, whether it be a music video or a video game or just a good promo. Basically, Toonami's back, bitches, as they say. Lance mentioned last night he knows all the shows Funimation's going to be airing for the foreseeable future on there. So after Concerned Sins in, we'll probably get another Funimation show. After other shows need to be rotated out, you're probably going to get a new show every other month at this point, given just the way they want to keep the block fresh and new. They've talked on Twitter about some other shows, like the new Thundercats, might throw that on there late night. Cowboy Bebop, they put on there, and they love the show. It's one of the greatest anime of all time, greatest animations of all time. But they're like, yeah, we just aired the series finale. It's tired. Let's take a break as much as we love it. Ghost in the Shell, they just restarted the whole series, so that's probably on there forever. Full Metal Alchemist, probably do another run of that. Bleach, they get new episodes. But stuff like Dead Man Wonderland, that was 13 episodes, so they can only air it for so much. Ironically, they aired a commercial talking about reruns. Like, oh, the reruns, we understand. You have to deal with them. And we haven't had to deal with one rerun on Toonami yet. It's all been stuff new to Toonami, at least every episode. So, if you want to follow up on Twitter, or if you have Twitter, Clark Nova 1, that's Jason DeMarco. He's the co-creator and the current head of Toonami. I'm Chad Bonin on there. I talk a lot about this crap. A lot. ToonamiArsenal.com if you want to check out any videos and you don't have YouTube, because basically all the clips on YouTube are from ToonamiArsenal.com. I have a panel in here at 7 if you want to hear about Japanese superheroes. I've been asked to tell if you're here for the cosplay contest for the lineup, you have to do it outside, so you have to leave the room. And And if you're here for Toonami, I'm done, so you have to leave the room. Thanks.